Well, good afternoon, guys, and today I figured I'd make a video in the Uintas. I'm at about 10,000 feet up right now. Last time I was in the Uintas was almost 6 years ago, and I wasn't even interested in plants back then, so I might be a little rusty on what plants you can find here, but there's going to be some overlap with the Wasatch, so let's see what we can find. That being said, there are a few major differences, and one of the biggest is the presence of lodgepole pines here, or Pinus contorta, which you have a specimen growing right in front of us. For some reason, this tree is completely absent from the Wasatch, and that's not something that's odd about the Uintas having lodgepole pines. That's something unusual about the Wasatch because it's one of the most abundant conifers and widespread conifers in the whole Rocky Mountains, as well as on the Pacific coast of North America. It's a really common tree, and it's kind of a mystery as to why it's absent from the Wasatch. It might have something to do with low summer precipitation, but there's trees or lodgepole pines grown in the Wasatch have no problem growing and developing there, so that probably can't explain all of it. In fact, there's a lot of pine species not found in the Wasatch, like ponderosa pines, pinyon pines, and some others. But that's another mystery for a different day. What's interesting about the lodgepole pine, which there's only a couple right here, is that they rely on fire to germinate and produce new plants, and because they need the smoke to melt the resin off of their cones to then release the seeds. This is, of course, an adaptation to make sure these trees can, basically have a nice clear ground surface to grow in that's not going to be covered in brush and other things, and also have a nice, very fertile topsoil layer from all the burnt debris. So you can find often whole groves of lodgepole pine that are the same age. Again, there's not quite a lot here, but it's much more of the Picea engelmannii, the Engelmann spruce, and maybe a few, not seeing much Alpine Fir right around here, but that one lodgepole pine. It's pretty nice. We'll definitely find some more as I continue hiking. Right off the bat, we have this cool wet meadow with a few plants to identify, and the first one I want to talk about is this larger plant in front of us. This is Veratrum californica, also known as false hellebore, or corn lily because its inflorescence looks like that of a corn plant, at least the male flowers. It's a very interesting one because it is highly toxic. As a member of Lodgepole, pretty much all are. So don't forage it, don't eat it or anything. It is also known for mass seeding, so groups of plant in an area, they're not monocarpic. They won't just bloom once then die, but they'll all bloom very dramatically at once. Likely just because of conditions, they want to bloom when conditions are right. So I would guess it's when, in wetter years, that it tends to bloom. So it can set seed most effectively in a habitat it's going to like. It is a very solid wetland plant. It doesn't like dry land at all. We also have this plant here. This is Castilleja rhexiifolia. I always mix it up, at least the name and color, with Castilleja miniata, but this is definitely rhexiifolia, which is pink, while miniata is supposed to be orange. A cool feature of this plant is that its petals are actually fused and look much more leaf-like than the sepals and bracts, which you can see here. That green thing sticking out right there, I'm touching my thumb, those are the fused petals, while all the pink stuff is either sepals or bracts. We also have some members of Ranunculaceae here. The one I haven't talked about before on this channel. This is Marsh Marigold, or Caltha leptosepala. As all members of Ranunculaceae it is toxic. You can see it only has basal leaves, and that's what its flower looks like. Almost looks like a member of the daisy family, but it definitely appears to be Caltha leptosepala. I really like the family of Ranunculaceae. I just think it's so cool. And this plant you really only see above like 9,000 feet. I've never seen it at lower elevations. And you don't even see it much in the Wasatch because the elevation is just never that right. It's another member of Ranunculaceae here. I believe this is Trollius laxus. Not sure what the common name is, but this one is, though the flowers look very similar to the Marsh marigold, you can tell them apart because they are, well, the leaves are both cauline and basal, and they're very differently shaped, as you can see. Like the big typical lobe shape, these ones are they're palmately compound, or maybe more like palmately lobed. I wouldn't say they're really compound, but that's the sort of appearance they have. A lot of nice plants today. It is July 3rd, so the year is the summer is just sort of getting started up here, but it'll be over before you even know it. These plants will be wrapping up in September. And there's also the species of violet that's actually purple for once. Because violets can be any color, but what matters is the shape. I'll have to identify that one as well, I just don't know what it is. That's a better view of the same species. Cute little guy. This is a fun little pond we have here. Got some myrtle species growing around it that I talked about already, like the Veratrum californica and Caltha leptosepala. And growing right into the pond, all this grass you see isn't actually a grass, it's a sedge, or any member of the family Cyperaceae. I couldn't tell you anything more about it than that. It's a really difficult family of over 5,000 species. So whatever they are, I appreciate them being here, but it's just, you guys are so boring, I just can't identify you or be bothered with you right now. Maybe one day I'll learn. Neat plants overall, but yeah. You can tell we're not grasses because grasses, when you have hollow stems with nodes in them, while sedges have solid stems with edges. So that makes it easy to tell apart. This is something I really like about the Uintas, is just, even though you're really high up, it's not like the Wasatch where the valleys are all so narrow and cramped filling. It just seems like they're so wide open here. Like you're above 10,000 feet and it's like a broad, flat area in a lot of places. It's a little hard to see what I'm talking about for the trees, but I promise it's there. I'm really getting to a zone where I can't identify many plants. I mean, obviously we got a lot of Alpine Fir, the Abies lasiocarpa, and Engelmann spruce around us. I mean, that's a dandelion, Taraxacum officinale, a plant we unfortunately just can't escape these days. It's everywhere, and it'll never go away. But I'm a little interested to know what this plant is, because it's a little weird shrubby looking thing. I see it growing everywhere up here. I've never seen it anywhere else before. Shoot, maybe I should have tried identifying it before actually starting to film here, but oh, let's take an idea actually. What a nice day it is. I was worried it might be raining today actually, because the Uintas are known for getting frequent rain in the summer, especially the late summer. Like if you go camping in Uintas in August, it's like almost guaranteed you're gonna get rained on, just because it's just how we are. Some climatic feature of them. It is the time of year when the summer monsoon reaches northern Utah. Kind of crazy if we get a summer monsoon. Got lovely wet meadow. Let's see what else I can find. I'll walk around a little bit. Some actual grasses here as well as sedges. Well, actually these might all be sedges again. Ooh, it's a little stinky. It's buried logs. Nice mountain above. I get more interested in wetland plants because I don't know very much about them. I'm glad I knew some that were growing in that wet meadow back there, but that was really a stroke of luck, I think. I still don't know what this damn plant is growing right here. Actually, this one might be something different, but I just could not tell for the life of me what those other ones were. Those really little ones. And I don't know what this is either, but dang. It's gonna be a learning experience in hindsight, I'm sure. Man, the views just keep getting better and better. I wonder how much longer that snow will last. I bet most of it will be gone by probably August. So more of the marsh marigold growing in this marsh. I didn't realize it could grow so high up. I thought it like maybe dip out by, I guess if it grows above 9,000 feet like only, then it's probably can be found pretty much all the way to the tree line, but I'm still a bit impressed with it. The false Hellebore. Really not much more new species exactly. If I know there's a few up ahead I can spot for you guys. Oh man. The highest point of Uintas I think is 13,528 feet. That's of course Kings Peak, the highest point in Utah. It's just like a step above all the other mountain ranges in Utah. These guys. Right up here, this shrub is Ribes montigenum. Of course, remember the family Grouse Whortleberry as all currants are. One thing that really stands out about it, and many gooseberries are like this, but or currants, is how prickly its stem is. Okay, I gotta zoom on that back one. I'll probably get the best shot. Yeah, you definitely want to grab onto this if you're falling. But it does produce fruit that should be edible. See its blooms as well. It's not quite ready yet. Maybe if I came up like 3 weeks later, it'd be ready. When I seen they have these little prickle looking things in them, so they might not be the best to eat, but it's probably worth a shot at some point. Because most currants I've tried are really delicious. Probably the best things I've ever foraged in these mountains here. And what else? Where's the Ivesia? Ivesia, how do you pronounce it? Yeah. There you go, okay. So I'm pretty sure is not the grass, but this, you know, the yellow flowers is Ivesia gordonsoni. This is a very typical genus, remember the rose family, very typical genus of the western United States flora. It's got these really cool looking leaves. I think they're commonly called mouse tails. Supposed to be Gordon's mouse tail. I don't really care about scientific or common names, you know that. I'm all about the scientific, but still it's sometimes good to know just to have some better outreach to people. Because scientific names are hard for some people, and you know, I don't like that it's so hard for some people. I wish they'd just get over it and try and learn them better, but you can't help it. You can't, you know, the customer is always right, so to speak. You know, they're definitely not always right. That is the rest of the lake. Incredible. So not above 10,500 feet. It's too high up even for the hardy lodgepole pines. We're left the forests of primarily Picea engelmannii, the Engelmann spruce, and a few Alpine firs. Like these little guys turned to crumholes right in front of us. And not much else. Actually, more of the trees here might be the Alpine Fir, but it's kind of hard to tell right now. I'm not looking that closely because I'm more paying attention to these wildflowers. This is Erythronium grandiflorum, of course, the Glacier Lily or yellow avalanche lily or whatever common name you want to call it, as well as the Claytonia lanceolata, the longleaf spring beauty, a really dumb name for a dumb common name for a plant. It's never a good reason to use scientific names. There's a lot of really dumb common names out there, and not so many dumb scientific names. Over a few. Oh, there's a lot of them right there. That's nice. How adorable. But anyways, not a whole lot of other plants up here, at least that I can identify. And these trees we find here are the two hardiest trees in the region, with the exception of Pinus flexilis, one I haven't seen yet. That's commonly known as the limber pine. It goes all the way up past the tree line, in fact, so hopefully we can find a few of them because they're really neat. Now that's a view. This really shows what I was talking about with the Uintas earlier, about there being broad, flat areas. Like in the Wasatch, if you're this high up, or really anywhere in the Wasatch, all the valleys are super narrow and typically river carved, or even if they are glacier carved, they still feel very narrow. But up here, there's lots of broad, flat areas like this that really make it feel nice and open, despite being way taller than the Wasatch. Up here, there's not many wildflowers, but interestingly, the Ivesia gordonsoni is much more in bloom right now. I think because it's just way more exposed up here and there's much more sunlight. So they got an earlier start than the ones lower down in the shade. Very cool plant. I mean, all plants are cool, but I kind of like these ones right now. I'm really digging them. Let's go see what's up at the notch. Not sure if these are like, let's look at the flower closely. So my hair's getting away. Long, beautiful hair, which you will never get to see. I'm not sure. That could be like a rose or ranunculus family member. Rosaceae ranunculaceae, I mean. Nice. Another great view, of course. I think this is a good place to cut the video off, so thanks for watching, guys, and see you next time. Hopefully I'll actually find a place with a lot of wildflowers in bloom. Okay, guys, I'm sorry I did not take this plant as seriously as I should have at first. I was just really in a bit of a hurry, but without further ado, this is Potentilla glaucophylla. So it is in fact a member of the rose family and not the family Ranunculaceae. And yeah, it's I don't think I've seen it before, or if I have, I've never properly identified it. But it's got these blue leaves that are compound like this. Most Potentillas have compound leaves, either palmately or pinnately. And of course these nice yellow flowers that do look like either be rose or buttercup family flowers, but they are in fact rose family flowers, and it's a plant quite common in the very high up areas of these mountains. So you can find it in the high Uintas, not so much in the Wasatch, but definitely like say the Wind River range as well, and other high up ranges further north for sure. So yeah, cool plant. But thanks for watching and see you next time.